What's going on, Lions Den family? It's your boy Pastor D, and welcome back to yet another Motivational Monday. And today we got a good topic for y'all, man. I want to let y'all know, man, I had a beautiful, awesome, amazing weekend where I got to go to Vegas, man, and be a part of the Journeyman Leadership Program with my union, the UBC. So shout out to the UBC, as you can see, rocking some of my new gear from them. But shout out to all the amazing men and women that was able to partake in this leadership course, man. It really taught me a lot. But like I said, I had a beautiful weekend, and I can only hope and pray the same for y'all. But what I need y'all to do before we get into this video, as always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the post notifications. That way, you know, anytime I post or even go live. But let's get into the video.
Walk it like I talk it, yeah, I walk it. Yeah. Flowers never grow without some water.
So in today's topic, we will be talking about when to walk away. When to walk away. And the reason why I feel that this is very important for us to understand is, I know we've heard it before where people say, hey, you have maybe outstayed your welcome, or you may have overstayed your welcome, right? And so I want us to understand the importance of knowing not only when to walk away, but also understanding the different seasons and reasons and lifetime moments of whether we are to walk away or whether we are to continue to walk in what it is that God is calling us to. So for our talking points today, we got: it's important to know when, a reason, a season, a lifetime, and once you walk away, don't look back. Our Bible verses, we have 1 Peter 3:11, and this is from the Voice translation. And it states, walk away from the evil things in the world. Just leave them behind and do what is right, and always seek peace and pursue it. The next one is Proverbs 3:27 out of the Message version. It says, never walk away from someone who deserves help. Your hand is God's hand for that reason or for that person. And then we have Matthew 10:14. It says, if anyone will not receive you or listen to your words, shake off the dust from your feet when you leave that house or that town. And the thing that I love so much about these three different verses is that it gives us three different scenarios, right? The first one tells us to walk away from evilness and darkness, and to walk away from things that are not good from us, and to seek peace and to pursue happiness, right? And that's important when you're learning when to walk away from people, places, or things. The next one, it tells us to never walk away from somebody that's in need. There are going to be some people that God, or some places that God actually calls you to, that sometimes you may feel the weight of that call, that you may want to walk away from it, but you have to endure it. You have to stand, because God has called you to be there for a particular reason, a season, or even a lifetime. And then we have the Matthew 10 one, where it tells you that in some places you're just not going to be received. So you got to know when to shake off the dust and just keep moving, because you're not going to be for everybody, and everybody's not going to be for you. But you don't want to try to force your way, or you don't want to try to make yourself fit where God is not calling you to fit. So you got to know, again, when to walk away. Okay, so knowing when it's time to walk away. This is very important. So let's go ahead and get into this. Knowing when to walk away from people, places, or things requires discernment and a lot of wisdom and guidance from God. The problem most of us face is that we stay far beyond our expiration date. We often don't know when to let go or move on. And even when we do know, we may be too deep in to do what we know is right. Personally, I've learned that the times I've chose, or that we choose to stay when God is telling us to walk away, is because we are hoping for a selfish outcome. And what I mean by a selfish outcome is that we as humans, we want what we want, even if it hurts us sometimes. We'll take the pain to feel satisfied. But here's what I want you to know today. You don't have to fear walking away. Don't feel like you're missing out on anything, or even as if you're trying to save something. When God calls you away, take the exit, because sometimes staying too long won't always guarantee you make it out. Now, I don't know if you ever heard stories of, let's even take it this route, right? People that may find themselves in domestic violence, right? Or in, let's say, any other situational relationship problems, or be it on a job or in a career, or in a situation or friendships too long, right? And you see that the ending for them is not that well, right? Because at some point they felt the need to walk away, but because they were either too attached, or they felt they felt too connected, or they were being led by triggers or trauma. They chose to stay. And in them choosing to stay, it cost them their livelihood, right? Or even their life, right? This is why it's important for us to know when to walk away, because the things that we choose not to walk away from when God tells us to, it'll rob us of more than it can ever give us. This section I call a reason. When we encounter people, places, and things in life, we do so for a reason. This reason, known only to God, is meant to enrich our lives by imparting valuable lessons through the challenges we face during these experiences. I firmly believe that everything in life has a reason behind it. While we may not always comprehend these reasons, it's not our place to question them. Reflecting on my life experiences, I've often struggled to understand the reasons behind them, particularly when emotions were running high. It wasn't until I gained clarity of mind and genuinely let go of the experiences that I was able to see the divine purpose behind my trials. When God calls us away from certain experiences, it's important to recognize that it's not without reason. God possesses a profound understanding of things that we lack, and He only calls us away for either promotion or protection. So, one thing I'm a firm believer in is that you always have to ask God the reason as to either why someone or something is able to be a part of your life, or vice versa, why you're able to be a part or even in that space, right? Because everything that God allows, there's a reason to it. This is particularly something that God has said, look, there's a great meaning behind why I'm going to allow you to enter this door, why I'm going to allow you to be a part of this relationship or even be a part of this connection, right? And so you have to allow yourself to go to God. As I do, I always ask God, what is the reason that this person is able to be connected to my life, or that I'm able to connect to their life? What is the reason that I'm on this job? What is the reason that you have me here? Because I don't want to just be in a place and not understand the reason as to why God has me there, because that reason, it matters, so that you won't miss your assignment or your purpose wherever it is or with whoever it is. Next, we move on to season. Seasonal experiences differ from purposeful events in that they are temporary. When we encounter certain life stages, the best course of action is to embrace them. We embrace them because they are fleeting, and I've discovered that they can offer some of the most valuable lessons we never intended to learn. Personally, I've found that I often resisted letting go of seasonal experiences. I even yearned to revisit or recreate those seasons. However, God wouldn't permit it, because overcoming challenges and emerging stronger defines growth. Once we outgrow a phase, God won't allow us to return to it. Therefore, for every seasonal experience in your life, allow it to be just that. The experiences that lie beyond those seasons are only ordained by God. Now, what makes this important is that, as I stated, sometimes we'll go through these seasonal experiences, right? And sometimes we may have felt like, man, that was a great experience. That when it's over, it's like we have this longing for it, right? We miss it, right? And we want to kind of try to recreate those in the next moments or experiences in our lives. But that's dangerous, because you experience that for a reason in that season, right? It's because that's a season that you were in. But don't ever miss this, right? When you outgrow someone, something, or somewhere, and you elevate to a new level, and God can take you higher and promote you, and He can place you in around bigger and better and give you greater and give you more. Don't ever allow yourself to think that what you have just overcome is greater than where you are currently at. A lifetime. Now, lastly, of these three experiences, we have experiences that God permits us to enjoy throughout our lives. These are the divinely ordained experiences that we should cherish and be incredibly grateful for. These lifetime experiences are the ones we eagerly anticipate, because in reality, we all desire consistency and longevity. The challenge in these lifetime experiences lies in ensuring that we are responsible stewards of what God has entrusted us with for a lifetime. While we may not have to abandon these experiences, we must learn to adapt as life presents changes and challenges within them. So, as we know and we understand, life is forever evolving, right? And when God gives us something that's supposed to last for a lifetime, we can't fall into the dangers of comparing it to reason or seasonal experiences, right? Because if we do that, then we'll overlook this thing that's supposed to bring us a joy or a peace for a lifetime. And we'll find ourselves gearing more towards those experiences rather than appreciating this thing that God has in front of us, right? And this is why we must learn to adapt. This is why we must learn to grow and never be afraid to even come out of our shell or out of our box or limitations that we put ourselves in. When God gives you a lifetime experience, it's going to challenge you for every day that you are alive until God calls you home, right? And so with that being said, when you find yourself in this place, I want you to be open. I want you to trust God. And I want you to never be afraid to keep learning, to keep growing, and to keep experiencing new things, right? Even with your lifetime experiences, your lifetime partner, your lifetime blessings, whatever it is that God desires to give you, that's for a lifetime. Allow yourself to be open to evolve, because God is going to evolve you. And who you are today is not who you will be 10 years from now. But don't be afraid of the changes, because change is always good. Once you walk away, don't look back. The greatest challenge most of us will face is not only the strength to walk away, but also to stay away and continue progressing forward. I mentioned earlier how at certain times in my experiences, I yearn to revisit or recreate moments from my past. To be honest, there's always a subtle desire or temptation to go backwards. We can learn a valuable lesson about this very topic in Genesis 19, verses 24 through 26, where Lot's wife was transformed into a pillar of salt for her disobedience to God. As a result, she was trapped in the act of looking back. This teaches us that there's not only a danger in looking back, but also in going back. It can cost you all the progress you've made in moving forward, and most importantly, every blessing that God had in store for you. So in closing, once you walk away, don't look back, only look forward. Now, I'll be lying if I told you that there was never a moment in my progressing forward in life or my elevating or growing in life that I didn't think to go back or to look back, right? But one thing I love so much is that God will always give us the strength to keep going. He'll give us the strength to not fall into the trap of the enemy that wants us to think that there's more better behind us than there is ahead of us. So as you're constantly walking on your journey, what I want you to know and to understand is that life gets better as you keep moving, as you keep going, and as you keep growing. But life will stay stagnant, life will regress, and life will give you everything that you already had if you go backwards. You've already experienced that. But what you didn't experience is what lies ahead of you. So I want to encourage you, when you take those steps in going forward, no matter how desiring or tempting it may be, no matter if the past comes calling, comes reaching for you, come knocking at your door, don't answer. Keep moving, because it's a trap. And the devil knows what's ahead of you. Even if you can't see it, he can. And his goal is to stop you from getting there. But don't let him. But God bless y'all. So I want to close, and I want to say that I thank y'all for tapping in with me for yet another Motivational Monday here on the Lion's Den with Pastor D. I appreciate all the love and the support. Don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and comment below what it is that you need to walk away from and what you're asking God for strength to walk away from. And I want you to notice as I close, you got it and God got you. Don't be afraid to go forward, because again, as I stated, there is more ahead of you than there is behind you. God bless y'all. Keep y'all in the cover, y'all. And as I like to always say, be encouraged, get inspired, and stay uplifted. Until next time, God bless.
Wisdom is for free, but yet it's overpriced. And I never seen success happen overnight.